there, thanks for joining me to color. Today we are going to be working on this adorable Stampin' Bella image called Sammy is Sweet. Isn't she cute? Love her. I'll put a link down in the description box to the card kit and all the supplies I used. I would love for you to come shopping with me. It really helps me out. Oh, hi Teresa, thanks for joining me. So this is our cute girl today. So this is what we're doing now. Next week, we are going to, oh, before I forget, I put at the blog, at the top of the blog, there's a little tab that says classes. So if you look at that, click on it, it will take you to all of the upcoming classes that will be coming up. But I'm going to give you a quick preview just so we can, get everybody started. Hi, Julie. Yay, you're back. Next week, so that's the 15th, we're going to do this penny black stamp called Lustrous. And I stamped it in white ink, and then I colored over the top with Prisma colored pencils. So that's what we're going to be doing on the 15th. Hi, Esme. Thanks for joining me. So this is what we're going to do on the 22nd. This is also a card kit. So if you want to, she's already in the store. So if you want to head over and pick her up, remember, hit the little classes button at the top of the blog. And there is a link to the blog at the bottom of the description box. But this is called Poppy. We'll be doing her. And then the following week, which is the 1st, I have nothing planned. So if you have a suggestion, go ahead and leave that in the description box down below after the video posts, and I will write it down so that I can think of something. But on the 8th, and I haven't finished cutting these out yet, we're going to do this little cutie called Love You. And this is a Moe's digital pencil image that Penny Black has picked up. So it's a stamp. So this will be a card kit. So you will have to purchase this in order to, if you want to color along. But we're going to make this card here. The card kit is going to come with 3 cards. You're going to get this card, and then you're going to get the stuff to make this card. Kind of switching it up this week. I thought it'd be fun to try something new. And then you're going to get the stuff to make this card. So you can make 3 different cards with this card kit, and this will be March 8th. So if you want that, I'm not done cutting it out, but I'm hoping to finish cutting it out today and get it in the card later today or tomorrow. But I'll make sure to post it on the store blog when I get done so that you'll know that it's on there. So that's what we're going to be doing on the 8th. And I've been trying to be really good about keeping up on the list over at the store blog because otherwise you don't know what we're doing. And this one, the Penny Black stamp that we're doing next week, is a stamp. And I sold all these out of the store, but I put a link to Amazon if you want to pick one up and stamp it and color along with me with the Prismacolor pencils. So that'll be fun. But here, we're going to do Sammy today. So let's get all of our stuff out. Well, let's get the girl out first. And our instructions. Let me put all this over here. I don't want to lose it. And let's move this. Okay, so we're going to do... where did I stamp that? Oh, the sentiment. Oh, I forgot. The little sentiment here, this one I think comes in the stamp set. So you get the girl and this stamp, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm thinking it did, though. I can't remember now. I don't have the stamp out here with me, so I don't. And I didn't write down that there was an extra one down here on this instruction, so I'm assuming that that came with it. All right, so I'm going to zoom down. Get a little closer. And then we have music today. So I'm going to turn that on. So in case I'm not talking and you want to, you can hear something else. So we're trying it out. We'll see how it goes. Everybody liked it during Bible journaling, so I'm hoping that maybe everybody will like it now. And I just quickly picked some things, so who knows what it's playing. You have to sit down and actually have time for that. Hi, Linda. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so we're going to do our outlining first. For that, we're going to use C0, 00, and our colorless blender. So we are going to use these. And we're going to start with C0. And I didn't do anything fancy. I'm just going to use this one because it's the darkest. I'm going to go around just where I want some darker shadows. So like underneath of her dress right here, we're going to go. And we have, it's really sunny here today, so people are walking around outside. So if you hear the dogs completely freak out, that's why. They have to bark at every living thing or non-living thing that walks by the house. They think that's exciting to bark at everything. And my video room is right underneath of the front window. So sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't. They get a little crazy. Okay, so I just gave it a couple little spots there where I wanted it to be a little bit darker. Maybe over here where her elbow is. And then we're going to use C00, and I'm just going to go completely around now. So I'm going to start right here because I'm going to have her have a line or something to stand on. So let's start at her shoe. And I'm going to go around, and I don't care how wide my line is. I'm going to go right over the top of that C0. I don't care about that either. I'm just widening it out. And I like to do it first so that in case I color on something, I can erase it. But to tell you the truth, if I get some on there, I usually just ignore it and color right over the top. I hardly ever erase it, because it's so light after it dries that you don't really notice it on there. But if it bothers you, you can erase it. It makes erasing much easier. But if you wait till after you've colored it, I tend to pick up colors off of whatever I colored and drag them to the outside where I do not want them. And I do the outlining because I like to give it a little bit of a shadow so that it looks like it's coming off the page, not just completely flat. But you, if you hate that, could just completely leave that off. And then to, hi Olivia, thanks for joining me. For the Colorless Blender, this works best too if you haven't colored over it. So you just put down your pen on top of your girl and then swipe out past your colors. And this will soften all the colors together and blend that edge. And doing it this way, if doing it first, I don't have to worry about touching her or any colors I already have colored because they're not on there. And this works best too if this colorless blender is full. I'm glad you could join me, Esme. I'm so used to you over at Sheldean's channel doing her camera check for her. I'm supposed to be getting together with Sheldean, and we're going to do, I'm thinking that, here, let me, short pause, after short pause, we're going to do this girl together. I'm going to send her a card kit, and she's going to color with me, so I'm thinking this is the one. What do you think? Okay, so we're going to do, what are we doing next? We're doing the ground next. This isn't what I wanted. I want, did I write it down? It says I did. Okay, I just must have missed it. I did. I just don't know what I'm doing. I got distracted by the W's. Okay, so we're going to do these for our ground. We're working it out. We're gonna, me and Sheldean, she invited me to come in and color with her on her station, so I said yes. I thought that'd be fun. Haven't tried that. And she does such a great job on all of her streams, and she's always so fun. Okay, so we're gonna give her something to stand on, so let's go a little bit past her shoe. So I'm gonna go like right here, and then I'm gonna just draw a line. I'm gonna try to color her shoe. Well, it wouldn't matter if you colored her shoe because it's gonna be black. So if you accidentally got some on there, it's not that big of a deal. And then we're going to go with around right this. Mr. HeathersHobbieHaven's playing with something. Let me look. I don't know what that was. He's still doing some stuff. Okay, so we're gonna go like, oh, he's subscribed, yay! Or someone, a new subscribed. Usually that's Mr. HeathersHobbieHaven playing with the buttons. Okay, so let's do a little bit on this side, and then I want to go underneath my package. And I'm going to go over this again, so we're not going to worry if it looks not too great yet. Okay, then we're going to add C3. So I'm going to touch the C5, and we're going to go past, and we're going to brush out away, and then let's go over this part. And again, I'm going right over the C5. And this, we're going to fill in this little space here between her foot, and out this way. That looks pretty good for a first coat. So now we'll soften it even further with C1. I'm going to touch down over here on my C3 and then brush right over the edge of that C3 here. And then we start over. So I'm going to go with C5. And then we'll go over to second coat with C3. And then again with our C1. And there, she's got something to stand on. And you could even go back again with your C5 and just darken up this line here at the top. I'm going to go underneath of her foot. And then just leave it that way. Oh, see, Mr. HeathersHobbieHaven's on it. Jennifer is subscribed. Yay! All right, so we're gonna go with my Mr. HeathersHobbieHaven has put a little thing up that jumps up and down when someone new subscribes. I seen it over on Sheldean's channel. She has the best stuff over there. I'm like, oh, I want mine to do that, so I put Mr. HeathersHobbieHaven on it because he's in charge of all that stuff. I'm not so good at that technical stuff, technical mumbo jumbo. 20, 30. Okay, we're gonna do her skin next. So we're going to use all of these. Do they have a strong smell? I never noticed. Let me check. Yeah, if you smell it, if you sniff it, they do. But I hold it down. I don't smell it when I'm coloring as me. I don't smell the colors or whatever. And I sit in a closed room, so it's not like it's really overpowering. If you were sitting there, you know, with your head way down here, you might sniff a little bit, but otherwise, not too bad. Only when you get really close. Okay, so we're going to go with E11, and let's start on her body here first. So we've got her arm. Let me go find my girl here. Okay, so because her arm is down on top of, I gotta pay attention because last time this little section right here, I accidentally colored that. That's Cupcake. So right here where her arm, I wasn't paying attention obviously. Her arm is touching the cupcake right here, so I want that to be dark because it's underneath the cupcake. And then over here we'll go right next to where her hand touches the stick of the lollipop. And her finger. And then I'm going to go right along the bottom. And then for this arm, we're going to go right where her other arm touches it. And then let's do her little, she's got a little bit of skin right here on her chest showing. And then we'll go like this. She's got a little dab of neck showing right here. I'm going to color that right now, otherwise I'll completely forget about it. Okay, then we're going to take E21. And again, you touch down on top of your 11 and you flick away. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in this little section right here. And then we're going to brush her arm. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this arm out this way. And I'm not really pressing down when I do my brushing. I'm using my pen to just kind of float over the top of the paper. Hi Pat, thanks for joining us. It does look like 3 arms. I colored this one and I'm like, that's not her. After I colored it, I'm like, great, that's not her arm. That's the cupcake. So make sure when you're coloring her, you're paying attention. After I got it colored, I noticed right away that that was not what it went, how it went. But of course I had to start over because the cupcake, well, no, because the cupcake's going to be dark brown, so I just colored right over the top of it. Okay, we'll go with our E11 again. And because her face is tipped down this way, I'm going to have her have more light over here. So let's do her ear. And then I'm going to bring her face around here to where her neck is. And then I'm going to do a couple little swipes up here in her bangs. And then we'll add E21. So I'm going to cover her ear. And then we'll go down here and I'm just going to add a little bit to the bottom of my E11. And again, I'm just barely touching that paper. I just kind of flick right over the top of it. And then I'm going to bring this a little bit around over here so it looks like her face curves back around. And then we'll add E00. For this, I tend to go over whatever colors I've laid down because it's my last one. Okay, and I'm not going to worry about that little spot because we're going to add cheek color and then do a second coat. So today we're going to try R32. And you don't want to put too much. She's got a little dinky face, so let's do just a little bit right here along this edge. And I did that color on that side because it's tipped down more and I want it to be darker. But now we're going to do R20. So I'm going to do R20 over here. But I'm going to soften R32 on this side with my 20. And then we'll do R30 on both sides. And I'm thinking I'm going to do another coat of R20 over here. And then R30. And then I'm going to take my E00 and we're going to fill her whole face in. So I'm just going to swipe right across the whole thing. Maybe add a second coat to her arm here. Looking kind of patchy. And that's it for her skin. That's pretty easy. Oh, excuse me. I've still got this stupid cough that's lingering on. I brought hot chocolate in today. So we're going to do with E23, 55, and 50. I'll use these for her hair. Esme's asking if I have to work quickly or the markers, do the markers dry on the paper and you can come remove them and come back. So I try to work as quickly as possible so that it doesn't dry, but with Copics you can come back after it's dry and re-wet it. So you could do, let's see, I finished her skin and I didn't like how it was done, so I could come back tomorrow or the next day, whatever, whenever I felt like it. I could come back and I could re-add more color, and it just gets the ink underneath of it wet, and it will still smooth it out. Because we're going to go with E23 first, but I try to do it all at once, and I try not to leave my markers like laying around. Sometimes I'll take the caps off. If I'm doing one little section like her hair, I'll take all the caps off and I'll do them then, and then so I don't have to keep snapping the lids back on. But you can leave them out for a few minutes without the lid on, but I don't recommend leaving them just laying around without the lid because they are alcohol ink, so they will evaporate. Okay, so let's do in her little hair bows up here first. So I'm just going to give each little hair swirl a little streak of color, kind of towards the middle where the swirl comes together. And then for her hair, I'm going to tip my pen more straight up and down. So usually I color so it's kind of like on the side like this. But when I do her hair, I tip my pen more up because I can get better, smaller strokes by having my pen straight up and down. Let's go ahead and add a few up here. And I try to keep my pen, my strokes going with her hair with the way that it goes. So you wouldn't want to do strokes going sideways like this, because her hair's all going up towards the top of her head. You'd want it to all go in the same direction. So we're going to do the same thing with our E55. We're just going to go right over the top of our 23. And we're going to add a few more little streaks in there. And then we'll go like this. And we're going to come back with that 23 because I know it's going to be too light. This is going to be too light for me. Oh, we add a few more streaks. And then with the E50, you can continue with the streaking and just add some lines in here if you like the white look. I don't personally like that, how it looks when I do it all the time. So I usually just take my pen, whatever last color I have, and swirl over all of her hair. And now I'm going to go back with the E23, and we're going to put some more of that back in because I'd like it to be a little bit darker. And because this one over here kind of goes down more and her head's tipped that way, I'm going to put a little bit more on the bottom down here of her little swirly curl. Or her bun, whatever that thing is. Looks like something my Lexi would put in her hair. She was easy today. She wanted just a bun. Some days she wants 2 braids here. One day she wanted to go to school with 3 different braids on the top of her head, and I said no. I'm like, you cannot wear that. You're not going to school like that. She's 5, so she doesn't care. Okay, so now we're going to work on the lollipop, the frosting, the ruffle of her dress, our package, and her socks. Okay, so we're going to use these next. I know, I don't know where she comes up with these ideas. I'm like, really? You want to go to school with 3 different braids? One day she went to school with a braid and a ponytail. It was not crazy hair day. She finished up after I got done lecturing her about how she couldn't wear that to school with how so-and-so at school had her hair like that the day before. And I'm like, you know, this isn't really worth arguing about. So, yes, you can go to school that way. I didn't want to argue. I just wanted to go to school. I have coloring to do. You're going to have to go to school. Let's go. Okay, so let's add a little bit. I don't want this one is really dark, and I don't want it to overpower my whole lollipop here, so I'm just going to put a little bit. So let's do, how about right here, and then let's do a little bit on this swirl, and I'm kind of bringing it out a little bit, so it kind of comes in as an upside down C. But then it comes back to a little point when it comes back to the line. And then we'll do the same thing in here on this one. So you kind of curve it around so it gets a little thicker in the middle, but it comes back to a point on the line. And how about over here? Then we're going to go with B53. So like these SMA2, I wouldn't do, like you could do, I would not do the E57 on all of the things I'm going to color and then come back because it would dry too. You'd have to re-wet the paper enough for it to move around. So I try to do like just this lollipop, and then we'll do the frosting, and then we'll do the ruffle so that it stays wet while you're using it and you don't have to re-wet the paper with the ink. Hi Renee, thanks for joining me. Are you at lunch? So we're going to add this. And I'm just going over the top of my 57. And I'm bringing it out a little bit. And again, I'm bringing it back down into a point when it touches the line. So wider over here where it goes over the color. And then back to a point at the end. And then we'll do the same thing with our BG01. So we're just adding more color. So over the top of the BG53, right over the edge, bring it around, come to a point. Well, this one's going to meet up with this one, so we're going to come right back out and come around to a point. I can bring this around over here to the bottom. Okay, then we're going to go with B00, and for this one, I'm going to color the whole thing. So let's swipe over all of this. And then because my paper has like a greenish tint to it, let me grab the card. My paper right here is kind of a bluish greenier, and it doesn't match my lollipop. I'm going to add green over the top. So I'm going to take G00 and we're going to color right over the top of the whole thing. And see how that kind of matches the paper a little bit better. But I want my little blue spots to be dark, so I'm going to go ahead and go back over with my E57. And add a little bit of that back in. Give it a little bit more interest on there. Alright, so we're going to go with Yes, Esme, Mr. HeathersHobbieHaven is my husband. You can ask him all kinds of questions. He's the technical side of our of the video streaming. Okay, so let's go over here and we'll do the cupcake frosting. He also runs and gets things when I forget to bring them in here because my video room is not close to where I keep all my junk. Sometimes I forget things and I'm like, oh, in the middle of the stream, Mr. HeathersHobbieHaven, could you go get this? And most of the time he finds it. He's really good. Okay. And then we're just going to continue through our colors. So we'll go with BG53. And remember, we're just softening the edge of the previous color. So let's go around this. And right here it kind of goes between the frosting lines, so I'm going to go underneath. And we'll add BG01. I'm going to leave the outside white so I can put my last color on there so it'll really stand out. Okay, now we want to fill it in, so let's go up here and go carefully around the edge. Even though it's B00, it's still going to show up pretty good if you get it onto outside out here. And then to add the green, we'll go over the whole thing with our G00. And I just lightly swipe over the top. And then I'm going to add my dark right back in. Alright, so we're going to go down here and we'll work on her skirt next. So for a skirt, I tried not to put too much of this on. I just went through these little, there's some little C's down here on the bottom of the ruffles. That one didn't have one, so I just put one anyway. And I just went over the inside of those. Let me see, did I do this one? I didn't do that swirl, but I did this one. And if there wasn't one, I just put a little half moon or a C there anyway. Whoops. Got a little crazy there. And then we're going to go through our colors. So I kind of made this color go right in the middle of the little C. It kind of comes up into a little, I don't know, not really a triangle, but just like swoops up and it gets skinnier at the top. So see how like this one's really wide here at the bottom? So I brought it up so it kind of goes into a little pointy thing. I don't even know what we're going to call that. I'm going to call it a triangle. Even though it doesn't look real like one. The paper I'm using is, I want to say 80 pound, 82 pound Neenah Solar White cardstock. So you don't want to buy just like regular white cardstock like Bazzill or Color Theory or stuff like that. This is special paper for Copics. Copic also puts one out called Copic Expressa. It's 92 pounds. Okay, I'm going to bring this one out because it's kind of wide, so I'm going to bring it out a little bit here on the sides to fill in my C. But when I first started using my Copics, I bought paper at Walmart. So cardstock from Walmart, you can use that. You can use whatever paper you want. You're just not going to get as good a results as you will get if you use paper that's meant to hold this much ink. Because when you color with it, it soaks into the paper. And some of that paper's just not meant to hold this much moisture. And I'm pretty light. I try to do my coloring so that you can't see much on the back. Occasionally you'll be able to see stuff will bleed through the back. Reds are really bad. If you're using red, it'll come through on the back. I know they used to say that you should saturate the paper and it should come all the way through and you get better results. That did not work for me. All that did for me was made, whenever I colored, everything went out of the line. It just made this big, huge mess. So for me, it works best. And a lot of times too, a lot of people go from light to dark. And for me, that was too much ink on the paper and it bled out of the lines. So I was just getting too much stuff on there. So I found that going from dark to light works best for me. So it may work better for you to go from light to dark, and when they do it that way, they color the whole, I would have started with my G00 and colored the whole ruffle and then come backwards until I got to the end and then done it again. But for me, when I do it, it makes to the back. Here, let's flip it over. You have just like a little shadow on there. But if I did it that way, this whole thing, you could see the whole lollipop here would be on the back of the page, and it would just go outside the lines. It would just feather like out here, like bleed out of there, and it looked terrible. So I found for me it works better to do it the opposite direction. Okay, socks. Let's do every other line on the socks. So I'm going to skip this top one so that it can be white or light gray, just so that there's a little bit of difference between her skirt and where I'm going. So we'll do every other one, and since her legs are together, I'm going to make it be darker in the middle. And if you're like me, you have to blink every time to make sure you're on the right line, because I have to get my bifocal to focus. It's like, is that the one or is that the one? Okay, then up here we'll do this one. Right here's white, so we're going to do this one blue. And then we're going to skip one, and they'll probably mush up together. Gotta refocus. Like these are going to be together. We're getting close together. And we're not going to make it all the way through all the colors with these socks. There's not enough room. So we're going to put a couple on here. So let's go with this. And if we have some room for, I'll have room for one more. And then we'll call that good. And then we'll fill it in with this one. And I'm going over the two previous colors. That will help smooth out any lines that are in there. And then to give it the green tint, we're going to go with our G00. And you could do, too, if you wanted this whole thing to be a little bit darker, I would give it a second coat. So depending on how dark you want all of your stuff to be, you could give it a second coat to make it a little bit darker. Okay, so now we're going to do our package. So up here on the top of the package, where you can see underneath the bow, I'm going to color it in with this BG57. And there's a little heart on there. If you color over the hearts, it's not that big of a deal. You can go, we're going to color them red so they can be colored over, but I'm going to try to avoid them. And then over here, we're going to go down the side of our ribbon and along the bottom. And then for this side, we'll go down this side, skip over that heart, and along the bottom. Yes, Julie, she is a Stampabella image. And I think there is one kit left. So if you want to have a kit from the store, make sure to head over and grab it up. There's still one. Okay, so we're going to go with this color, so BG53, and we're going to flick out. I want to bring it out a little bit further, so we're going to come out kind of to this little heart right here. And along the bottom. Same thing over here. Let's widen it out a little bit. And then we'll add BG01. Same thing, we'll touch down on top of our 53. I'm going to go out here to like the middle of this little heart here, so maybe 3/4 of the package. And then we will fill it in with our B000. Or B00, sorry. And then to make it green, we're going to go with G00. So we're going to go over all this. Give it a little bit more green tint. So we match our paper. This is the color I picked. I picked these blues for, whenever I make a card, I pick the paper first. Otherwise, I would color it some completely outrageous color that doesn't match anything I would ever find. So I always pick my paper first, and then I pick something on my image to match the paper. Okay. Hair bow, yay! Okay. So now we're gonna do, let's see. Oh, we're gonna do the little heart. She's carrying a little heart right here, and this little cherry. So we're gonna need these. Okay, so let's start with R39, and let's do our little heart up here first. So I'm going to do, and remember, if you get this out of the lines, you're never going to get that off. So be careful. I'm just barely using the tip of my pen, and I'm going to color this half of that heart. And then for my cherry, I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to color this section, and then I'm going to bring it carefully along my frosting over to there. And then we'll add R29. Add a little bit to our heart. And then to our cherry, let's go up to the middle. And then let's sweep up here towards that line. And then we'll take our R32, fill it in. And then I'm going to swipe over the entire thing. And I'm not liking how that line looks, so I'm going to come back with R29 and add a second coat so that when I do my R32, it will pick up some of that ink and blend it with it and bring it up to the top of my line. So when I go over with this again, see, it kind of picks up a little bit of that and it brings it up into that pink, making it a little bit darker. Let me see what the cherry looks like. Oh, see, you can't see it on the back. Okay, so we're also going to use R29 down here on these little hearts on this on my package. So let's go ahead and do those. You could also do your Spica glitter pen if you have that, a lipstick one or a red. I'm just going to be super, super careful. I'm just barely touching the very tippy tip of that pen to that paper. I could cheat too, I think. I have, let me see this pen. Yeah, see, I could cheat. I've changed the end of this pen and used this side so I could flip it over. But even then, it's still, these hearts are pretty dinky, so you're still going to have to just barely touch that paper. The minute that pen touches the paper, it's sucking up ink. So if you just sat your pen here and you sat it on the paper, it would make this big blob. I haven't changed all the tips of my pins yet. Yes, Esme. Esme's asking if the colors would bleed together if they were touched together. So if I was to, it wouldn't necessarily bleed, but it would run, it would, if you went into this line, it wouldn't like feather out into this color because this is dry. If this was still damp, it would probably feather a little bit. But if you got red down here in this frosting, you couldn't use the colorless blender. Like say, let's say I was using my, this is B00. So let's say I'm coloring, I'm not going to color, I don't care about this dress because we're going to color it black, but let's say I went like this and I went, oh! I could take my colorless blender, I'm going to turn her around. I'm going to zoom down. Okay, that's only further it's going to go. Okay, so see my little spot right here? So I'm going to take my colorless blender, and I don't take my colorless blender and I don't put it right on the spot and go, that's not going to work. You want to put it over here where before it's touching the spot, and what's going to happen is the pen is going to make a puddle and it's going to push it. The puddle's going to expand and push all this ink back in. So you kind of give it a little push. And it's made this little dot. I don't know if you can see it on there. Right there. Okay, and then you let it dry. So I'm going to fan it. I'm going to go. Okay, you let it dry a little bit. And then you come back with your pen again. And again, you set it down outside of your little dot. And you push the dot, or your boo-boo, towards your person. Okay. And then you let that dry. So we're going to let that dry. And I'll come back because there's still a little bit on there right there, but we're going to be able to push that all the way in. Okay, I'm going to go back up. All right, so let's do the cupcake wrapper here, and then we'll come back and deal with this dot again here in a minute. Okay, what are we going to do? What did I do the little cupcake wrapper? R21. Okay, so the cupcake wrapper is going to be I'm going to start with 21. And I did this just on the left-hand side of the line. So there's like a shadow, so every side over here. She's got a little spot right here underneath of her arm. I'm going to color that in, just so I don't forget about it. Okay, so then you go ROO. So the little cute little blender trick is not going to work for everything. Like these colors up here, this red, this 29 and 39, it's not going to push that back in. It's going to stain the paper and make a big mess. You could push it in a little bit, but this is a pretty big spot. Here, let's try. It's pretty dry, so let's try it again. So I've got my little spot there. So I'm going to take my pen on the other side of my line, and I'm going to push it. Until my bubble comes up to the line, then we'll let that dry, and we'll come back while we're fiddling around. Okay, so I'm going to put another coat of my R21. I need to pink up my wrapper here. Okay, and then let's see. Let's do our cupcake next. Okay, our cupcake. We are gonna go with these. It'll be all right. We'll fix it, Esme. Okay, we're gonna go with E49. So E49, this is another one of those. If you colored this outside the lines, you ain't getting it off. It's never gonna come off. So I'm gonna be very careful. I don't want to color up here into my frosting, so I'm gonna be careful going next to my frosting. And like I said, when you touch the paper with your pen, it's sucking up ink. So if you're mushing down on your pen and it's just sucking it like crazy, it's gonna bleed into your frosting. So I'm just kind of flicking it across the edge of the paper, like brushing it over it. Okay, and then we'll go E47. And then we'll fill it in with our E44. I like chocolate cupcakes. Oh, who am I kidding? If it was a vanilla cupcake, I'd still eat it. Or lemon. Or a cupcake. Okay, so let's work on our spot some more. So I've got my colorless blender and my little spot. And I'm going to go on the other side of my spot. And I'm going to let my spot become a bigger spot up to that line. Kind of smush it back and forth a little bit and mush it that way so that it goes back inside of her dress. We'll let that dry. We'll see how that looks. We'll check it out in a minute. Okay, what do we got left? We have the dress. Okay, shoes, W something, W9, 7, and 5. But what's her dress? Oh, 3. Let's see, 3. Oh, 1. Let's get all these W's out. Because we got our sock stripe down here. Lollipop stick. Oh, let's do the lollipop stick first. Okay, so for the lollipop stick, we're going to do this. Before I forget about it. Okay, so I'm going to do a little dab, and C1's not that dark, so I'm going to go a little bit underneath of her hand, and then I'm going to go right next to the, so I'm going to go above her hand too, but I'm going to go on the underside of the stick here. And I'm going to leave a little white line on this edge. If you didn't leave a little white line, you could take your colorless blender and you could run it right along this edge of your little stick, and it would push that color away and you'd have a little white line. Okay, how's my little dot going? Oh, it's almost gone. Okay, I'm going to give it one more try. Okay, so there's a little bit right here, so I'm going to go little circles, make my circle spread out, and mush that right into the dress. Okay, I think that's going to do it. Okay, let's do our socks. So for our socks, we're going to use W1. Oh, wait. W1. And we're not going to do anything fancy with these socks. I'm just going to brush my W1 halfway across each line. And again, I have to remember to blink in between lines because my eyes quit focusing on it, and then I forget what stripe I'm on. Okay, so that's for the socks. Okay, our little dot up here. See it? It's gone. So now I'm going to take my C0, or my C00, and I'm going to put my little line back on here, because I erased it all with my colorless blender. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender and just flick over the edge, just to blend it out so it's the same as the other side. And I didn't care about the blue, this little blue right here on her dress, because I'm going to color her dress black, and so I'm going to color right over the top of that. Alright, let's go down here and we will do her shoes. For that, we're going to use these. So it's forgiving in some ways, some days it's not. It depends on what color you're trying to erase. The 0, 1, 2, 3, when you get to 9 and 8, they don't work so good. So just be aware of that when you're trying to erase things. That's not gonna work out very well. Okay, so let's go with W9, and we're gonna do her shoe. And so this is one of those 9s. So if you got this outside the line, you're not getting it off. It's not gonna go anywhere. You're either gonna have to figure out whether you like it that way, or if you want to start over. Put a little bit on there. And we'll add W7. Not much shoe left on this side, so we'll do just a little swipe. And over here, since this one has more shoe out, we'll add a little bit more white over there on the lightest color, which is W5. Okay, shoe. I think I'm going to do just a little bit more of this on the bottom of her shoe, just so it breaks it away from this line that's on the bottom of my background here. Okay, then we're gonna move over here to our package. So the package bow. Okay, so for the package bow, we're going to add those other colors and this one. Mistakes do not add character, Mr. HeathersHobbieHaven. We have to throw that out and start over. Although I'm working on that box of chocolates that Sheldine did the other day, and it's not looking that fabulous. But I'm continuing on. Colored pencils are very hard. But like I say, practice, practice, practice. You cannot pick it up and expect to be an expert the first day. That's just going to take it's going to take practice. That's just all there is to it. I've done that before, Esme, being almost done and then having to start over. Sometimes these pens, if you overfill them, they will make like this, they will spill out at the end and make this giant blob on your paper. And then you're like this. Great. And usually it's never the B00 that spills. It's always W9. So you can't get it off. You're pretty much devastated. Or you can change the color of whatever you're working on and make it darker. And then you could have a different colored whatever, and then you could fix it like that. But yeah, those big blobs, we've all had that happen. If you're a Copic user, that's happened. And if not, it will. And then W5. I haven't tried graphites yet, Esme. You're right, Julie. It is so worth it. And I'm working on my colored pencils, so I'm hoping to get better. But like everything I said, it takes practice, practice, practice. I think it's fun to go back on my blog, on the store blog, and see the very first post compared to my coloring now. So, and I'm still improving. I get better all the time. But the first card kit was not that fabulous. This one here is a lot more detailed than those were. I'll have to have a flashback Friday or something where I can go post it on the store blog, go find the picture of the very first one compared to today, that Friday's post or something. That would be fun. Linda's asking if the Sharpie paint pen would help hide that. In a pinch, you could maybe use that, but it's paint, so it's gonna leave a line. You're gonna see it on there. It's kind of like using on Word documents when you want to put that eraser stuff on it. It's like that. I don't know. I forget what it's called. But yeah, I know you know what I'm talking about. That eraser stuff you wipe on, and it's supposed to magically make your mistake on the typing disappear, and it doesn't. Maybe a redo of the scene. I know, whiteout. It's called whiteout. There we go. I'm like, what is that stuff called? You know, it's stuff you put on the paper. But you put it on there, and you know you've erased it. You can see it on there. So you could put the paint pen on there. I don't think I even have a paint pen in here. Let me look. I don't. I have this little uniball thing. But once you paint, I paint it on here, but once I paint on there, then I won't be able to put the black over it because it's gonna like leave a little coating there. I don't want to do that because then the poor girl, she'll be sad. She'll be in the garbage can. She doesn't want to go to the garbage. All right, so we're gonna do this dress now. Whew, this dress is gonna be hard. Okay, so W9. I'll have to try it on something else. When I'm done, I'll go get, wait, maybe there's an extra one in here. Let me check. No, I didn't bring an extra, like, thingamabob in here. We'll do that next week. Next week I will remember to bring the Sharpie paint pen and do that just so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so we're going to do W9 first. And let's go ahead and do this top part of her dress up here. Okay, so on her dress, she has all these great dots. Aren't they beautiful? They look so pretty. I'm going to color right over the top of those because I'm going to use my Sharpie white paint pen that I didn't bring in here to color those back in. But if you try to go around every one of those little dinky circles, it's not gonna happen. I mean, good if you do, show me. I'd love to see that, but I had a hard time, so I'm just gonna color right over the top. Now, Mr. HeathersHobbieHaven's gonna go try to look for the paint pen. I heard him come up the stairs. Okay, so we're gonna do W9. Oh, let's do over here too. Let's go ahead and do this whole top section first. And we're not going to do all these colors. We're going to do W9 and then W7, and we're going to fill this top section up. Let's see if he was successful. Mr. HeathersHobbieHaven to the rescue! Yay! he found one. Okay, we'll try those out. Well, I'm gonna need that for my dress. I forgot that part. Okay, so we're gonna do down here on this dress. So this little skirt here, it's kind of complicated. So let's do, just so I can show you what I mean, I'm going to grab W1. You're not going to use this one when you color it, but we're going to do W1 to make the lines. Just so you could kind of see. Okay, so every one of these little things, they kind of go whoop, and they got this little thing where it goes up. So we're going to make the little thing go up. Like right here it goes, and then there's a spot. So if you're scared to start with W9, start with a light color like this, and see how I draw my line on there? And then I'm going to go over here. Whoop! It swoops up. Right here. Now I'll come around. And even though this one kind of dips behind, I'm not going to do that one. We're going to go like this, and we're going to bring this one in. Go like this. And then there's another one right here, so we'll bring this one. So you can see where you want to put your black. So see it on there? That way you don't have to be so scared. And we'll do W9, and we will do these stripes now for real. Okay, so I'm going to come down underneath it. Remember, you don't want to go out of the lines with this. It's not going to come off. I don't care how much colorless blender you have. It's not going to work. So I'm going to be very careful going underneath all of this. I'm going to go ahead and just do it now. And I tend to too go and leave just like do a really small line next to something just so I don't have to worry so much about going outside of the lines. Like over here, we'll do the little line first. Just so we don't have to worry about touching that skirt. So we'll add our little bitty line. And for littler bitty lines, I tend to hold my pen more straight up and down, not so much on the side. Dress looks funny right there. Let's bring it all the way up. Okay, so now I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to have a real line. And this is underneath, so I'm going to color that in. Okay, and we're going to go with that for our first coat. I'm going to give her dress 2 coats. That's Mr. HeathersHobbieHaven to the rescue. He's constantly bringing me things I forget about. Okay, and then we're going to go with our second coat. So let's go right over that line. I always think I'm so prepared, and even though the room's right next door, you have to go down the hallway, through the gate, and into the next room to find things. It's not as close when you have to go fetch it. Okay. Then we'll go with W5. Same thing, we just want to add a little bit more. So I'm going to go right over my W7. W3. Okay, and then we're going to give it a second coat because see how terrible that looks? But look how dark this girl's dress is. Oh, music stop, need to restart. Okay, let me go do that. Music, oh, there was some special thing, this thing. And, go. Okay, I'm assuming it, there, did it start back up? Okay, so we're gonna start again with W9. Because we want her skirt to be darker. And I'm even going to darken up the top of her dress up here because I don't think this is even going to be dark enough up here. I want it to be black to match the bottom. So let's go ahead and add a little coat up here. And then for our skirt, we're going to come down here. And even though I did that little skinny line the first time, this time I'm going to make it a little bit wider. So let's flick up. I'm going to keep this line still. From the bottom down here, we're going to flick out a little bit and away from the top. Okay. I started the music. Yay! Okay. I remembered what he told me. He gives me instructions before he goes. Do this and do that. Okay. I'll try to remember. Okay. So W7, we're going to go right over this. And I'm going to kind of go, I'm making it more, I'm taking up more space than I did the first time. So I'm kind of going up, I guess, to where the W5 was. So wherever I pulled the W5 to last time, I'm covering that up with W7. And then now we'll add W5. So now W5 is going to do where the W3 was. Okay, then we're going to go with W3. And I'm going to fill in this spot first. Okay, but I'm going to use this to swipe over her entire skirt. We'll see how that does for blending this all together. I'm going to come back with W9. Uh-oh, here comes Mr. HeathersHobbieHaven. Did I make something broken?
For some reason, the music's not running again.
Oh, maybe I pushed the wrong button.
That's okay.
I pushed play. And he fixed it! Yay! Okay. I'm gonna go over that a little bit with W7 just to soften it a little bit. Did you see Mr. HeathersHobbieHaven? Good job. He comes and he goes. He's usually downstairs moderating everybody to make sure there's no naughty people that come on and bother me. Okay, let's go with that. I'm really liking that now. Okay, let's give her... Okay, so we're going to take our Sharpie paint pen, and this is the water-based one. I'm going to shake it, so I'm going to shake it over here. And you want to shake it with the lid on. Otherwise, it will spray everywhere, and you will be so angry. Okay, so then I tested on a piece of paper to make sure it's not making 8,000 size, inch-size dots. And then I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go dot, dot. And this one, this particular pin, if you press on it, it makes more. So I tend not to push down on the little tip so that it doesn't make big blobs. And up here, you can't even see the dots anymore, so I'm just going to put whatever dot I feel like. I better put some down in here. Okay, give her some dots. Okay, let's see here. I don't know. I didn't bring in... Okay, let's zoom up. Okay, so now we are going to do... And that paint pen doesn't take very long to dry. I'm going to put a paint pen in here just so it stays in here now. So I'm going to grab all my stuff from my card kit. And in your card kit, you get this little frame. So I'm going to do that first so that it can dry, because it's going to take it a second. I'm going to go ahead and do... And I'm going to do it on this piece of paper because I don't want to get glue all over my mat, and I'm messy. I can admit it. I'll get glue everywhere. So let's leave it on here. And I'll put some glue on the back. And because this glitter paper's got like a plastic like coating on the back, I prefer the liquid glue. Okay. Then we're gonna put her on here. Okay. Now, let's flip her over. Okay, we're gonna put her over here for a second to dry while we do this part. I'm gonna go up a little bit more. All right, so I don't know. Oh, we'll still need this glue. Hi, Murrayville. Thanks you could join us. Okay, so we got all this stuff in here that you're going to use. So I'm going to put all this stuff over here. Let's put all this. Okay, we're going to go with this piece first, or you could use this great dots on the back. I would show you what the girl looks like, but now she's wet, so I'm trying not to see. Ooh. So if you don't like this, with this, you could flip it over and do the little dots. Maybe we should try it. What's on the back of all this other paper? Okay, so we got this. Let me check. This. I don't really love this heart one, but it's going to be covered up anyway, so it wouldn't really matter. Oh, but see, then you got this. But you could still do the gray. And what's on the back of this one? Stripes. See, so I'm not really loving this as much. But let's try it the other way. Let's try this piece. Yeah, see, it's too black for me. So I'm going to continue with it the other way. Okay, so we're going to do with the swirls. And I always, first thing I do is check to make sure my card is opening the way I want. So if you want your card to open top like this, or you want it to open the side, I make sure to set it however I'm going to put it together. Otherwise, I put it on upside down. And the minute I put it on upside down, I don't care how many times the glue has just magically come off before, it just decides that that's the day it's going to stick. I don't know if that happens to you girls, but that's how it works for me. It's like, oh, it just peels off any other time, but today, no, not so much. Okay, then we're going to do the little hearts. Whoops. And this paper has, is it the little, not this one, but this one back here, this one on the back, is kind of shimmery. It's got like a shimmery texture to it. Same with, is this one shimmery? Not this one. But this one is. This one's got, the blue is kind of like shimmery like. Okay, and this piece goes all the way across, so from side to side, so you're going to kind of have to line it up. I think I got it up too high. Let me take it back off. See, one of those times where you're like, oh no, the paper's not going to come off. Okay, let's go down a little bit more. Okay, there, like that. Next, we're going to have this little heart. And you could use your liquid glue on this too, if you prefer. I'm going to put it, let's see, how about right here. And then we're going to have our girl. Let's see, is she dry? She's going to be good enough. Okay, so I cheated today. And I remembered to get my foam tape off of the roll, so that I could just stick it on there. I know, it's terrible, right? But it's so much easier than those dots. Those dots are kind of a pain in the fanny. I like them, but... And look how much easier it is to peel off 1, 2, 3 little pieces of paper instead of 15. Okay, then we're going to put her on here. And I have her kind of Cattywampus. But I'm not going to smush her down. I'm just going to kind of set her there because I want to put this and this one is going to go under. So I want to make sure, because I put that tape on there, I want to make sure that it goes under there and it doesn't get stuck. Okay, so let's go ahead and hook this one down. And I have this one kind of hanging off of the light blue piece onto these two down here. And then this, I wanted it to kind of go so it's kind of up here on this line. There's like a little dash line right here. So I kind of have it so it's like up like this. So I'm going to go ahead and put some liquid glue on here. And because this one is going to go underneath of the picture, I'm going to just go all the way across. And then over here we'll just give it a little bit because that's not going to... We're going to cut it off. And I left it this big so you could move it around if you don't like it right there. And then I left it free up here at the top. Okay, so now that we got that down there, I'm going to smush this down. And then we will take our scissors and trim off this piece. You could move it around wherever you wanted because I left that stick on there so you could put it over wherever you wanted. You could even put it over here on the side if you wanted and leave the whole stick on there. Because it's a bigger, I think it's 6 inches. It covers the whole front of the card. Well, it's too late now. I can't measure it, but I think it covers the whole length of the card there. So that is our card today. And then you could do some Spica glitter pin in her hair. Let me see. What did I do to this poor girl? Yep, I did some Spica glitter pin in her hair, and then I did some Wink of Stella brush pin. I added that to the little cherry here, the heart, and this bow down here. And then you could also use your Wink of Stella glitter pin on these hearts to make those sparkly so that they would have some sparkles. You know, I'm all about the sparkles. And I did the Wink of Stella too. The brush pin up here on this lollipop so it's all sparkly. So that is it. Thanks, Julie. So that is our card for today. Isn't she cute? Adorable. Remember, if you haven't picked this card up, there's only one kit left. So if you want her, head over to the store and grab her up because that's it. So again, reminder, next week we're going to do this. And remember, if you want to see what classes we're doing, head over to the store blog and you can click on the classes button at the top and it will tell you what we're doing for the next month. So this is next week, which is, I have to look at my date. I don't know what day it is. The 15th, we're doing this, Prismacolor pencils. And if you go to the store blog, you will see a list of all of the stuff underneath. And there's also a, a pin card. There we go. I had a brain freeze there. A pin card underneath the post. At the bottom of the post, there's a little picture of the card, and then over on the side, it says Prismacolor pencils, or in this case, it says Copic markers, and it has a list of every color that I used. So you could pin the pin card onto Pinterest and save it, or you can print it out. It's a 4x6 photo, so you could print it out and put it into a book if you want to keep track of those for ideas. So that is next week. This card kit we're going to do on the 22nd. Her name is Poppy. So if you want to get her, head over to the store and pick her up. She's already loaded in the store. And Teresa says that some Walmarts carry the 80-pound Neenah and a 92-pound Express It paper. Good to know. Mine doesn't, but that's awesome. So, and I also have it in the store. I would love for you to shop with me. So there we go with the Poppy. And then on the 1st, for March 1st, I don't have anything planned. So if you have a suggestion, make sure after I post the video processes and goes done processing is on the store, the YouTube, leave a comment down below and tell me what you'd like to do and I'll add it on there. We're going to do this one. This is a card kit. We're going to do this one on the 8th. And Teresa, there's that girl that you were asking about. Isn't she cute? So we're going to do her on the 8th. And this little card kit, again, is going to come with this girl. I thought I'd switch it up this week. We're going to do this girl for our class because I'd colored the girls all the same. But in the card kit, you're going to get 3 different cards. So you can do different words to send to different people. But we're going to do this one for class on the 8th. All right, girls. So I hope you had fun coloring with me today. Thank you for stopping by to color. I really enjoyed chatting with you, and coloring Sammy is sweet here. Thanks to all the new people that came by to say hi. It was really fun. If you have a question, leave me a comment after the video and I'll make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, don't forget to hit the like button if you like the video. Subscribe to my channel so you'll know next week when I do the video what time to show up. And leave a comment if you have a question or just want to say hi. It's cool too. Otherwise, I hope you guys all have a fabulous week and I will see you next Thursday. Bye.